going on, everybody? So, as you can see, championship belt in hand. Blue t-shirt on, which only means one thing. It's a Friday night Smackdown review. And this was a fairly okay, I would say fairly good episode of Friday Night Smackdown. Of course, per usual, they did some recapping the day. Recap for the previous episodes of Raw and SmackDown, especially with the SmackDown of Raw getting smacked, and then what Cody Rhodes said on Raw. Now, of course, if you haven't seen it, there's an 8-minute video of what The Rock had a message for Cody Rhodes' mom. So this plays into what we get in the first segment of the night, which is the Rock promo. Or I should say the Rock concert promo. But yeah, the one thing I want to touch upon first is that The Rock came out with with the thing he's been using, and then it did do like a little weird remix thing, and then also it just busted to Hollywood Rock thing. I'm like, oh my god, he did it. And the crowd went crazy. I went crazy. I'm like, he brought back the Hollywood Rock thing. And it's like a remixed version, like I said, but it's only like a it's not really like a real remix version. It's just like he just like the beginning of it is different than what it originally was, and then it just plays the original beats and everything of Hollywood Rock. But and then he came out. He told the crowd that he's not gonna trash talk them because he got a history with Memphis and how that was where he debuted and like he started his career as a wrestler there. So he said finally The Rock has come back home. Yeah, I guess his name was Flex. He debuted as Flex something there for their little indie promotion, and he basically did the Rock concert, and then after he did the Rock concert, which basically talked about Cody's mom and Seth Rollins and the Cody Crybabies, he wanted to address what Cody Rhodes did, which is basically what what he said in that 8-minute promo video he did on Twitter and Instagram, where he just talked about Cody had the biggest moment in his life after he slapped him, and he was like, what did Cody do? He goes and cries on Monday Night Raw, and that he's not going to be handing Roman Reigns' belt to his mom, but because the belt is going to stay around Roman Reigns' waist, and the only thing that's going to be getting handed to Cody Rhodes' mom is going to be the Rock's belt, his little waist trainer belt his weight training belt that he wear when he deadlifts. He said that's the only thing that's going to be handed to Cody Rhodes' mom with his blood and tears on it. And yeah, and that was pretty much it. Yeah, he just ran down what he said from his 8-minute video, and that was it. And then he once again exit with his Hollywood Rock thing. I like his entrance, especially now that he got the Hollywood Rock thing to it. Let's see. We get the first match of the night, which is Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo versus LWO's. I keep forgetting the two guys' names, but they like the two luchadors of LWO. And this was like a qualifier for I guess for Smack. They have like these different brackets. I think they said later on in the night too that their next week was gonna be bracket 2. This is bracket 1, and bracket 1 consisted of Humberto Carrillo, Angel Garza, LWO, the New Catch Republic, and Pretty Deadly. And Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza will have this first match will be good. I mean, don't get me wrong, Cruz and Del Toro. I hope I'm not saying the same person's name, thinking that's the same two people, but Del Toro and the LWO, this was a banger of a tag team match. I like luchador style wrestling because I like the high flying and stuff. So I ain't gonna say too much bad about it because it wasn't really bad at all. That's some impressive high flying moves that that standing Spanish fly. I love all that. But Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo will get the victory, moving on to the next round of the bracket one, which I guess will be taking place next week against the winner of Pretty Deadly and Newcastle Republic. More on that later. Um, we will get LA Knight come out next, and he will cut a promo basically talking about AJ Styles and how AJ Styles said that he needs to humble him, that he needs to be humble. Well, he challenged AJ Styles to come out and humble him, but AJ Styles doesn't show. He said yet another week where AJ Styles is not here, and he basically calls out AJ Styles saying that saying that he throwing shots at him saying you too tall, you too short to ride this ride, but and eventually he gets around to saying that he knows a place where you will show up that you can't deny but to show up, and that's at WrestleMania. So he challenged AJ Styles to a match at WrestleMania. Him, LA Knight versus AJ Styles. If you got the balls to show up and accept the challenge, and he would think it was going to be accepted next week, but AJ Styles really was there, and AJ Styles would smack him in the back with a chair, to which AJ Styles then set the chair up and place it like around his neck and tell him that he accept. And then the referees and officials will come out to break it up and send AJ Styles to the back. This was followed up by Logan Paul, who was talking with Nick Aldis. And Nick Aldis, this is a separate promo, by the way. And he would tell Nick Aldis that he demands an apology from Randy Orton for what he did last week, for ruining the Prime logo unveiling and saying that this could be bad for Nick Aldis because of what Randy Orton did, but and that he basically called Nick Aldis incompetent because Nick Aldis can't even find him an opponent for WrestleMania. But Nick Aldis says, you know what? Why don't you go out to the ring and demand that apology yourself? Well, I'll figure out who will be your opponent, basically. And he said that he won't. He could, but he won't because that's Nick Aldis' job. And then we move on to another backstage. This was another backstage promo. This was Jimmy Uso and Kayla, who would do the interview for LA Knight. Would also do this one. Asking Paul Heyman, do they have any comment on Jey Uso's challenge for WrestleMania? Jimmy basically answers and said that he accepts the challenge and that at WrestleMania it will be brother versus brother. And don't forget, Jay, I'm your big brother and I got you. This will lead into the second match of the night, which is Randy Orton versus Grayson Waller. This was a fairly good match. Logan Paul would be at ringside to watch the match. This was a good match between the two. Randy Orton works well with people like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory because they will oversell the shit out of his moves and stuff. It's nothing. There's nothing too really much to say about this. Was a standard Randy Orton match getting over. They did reveal that the 2K24 ratings with Randy Orton being a 91 and Grayson Waller, I think it's a 76. But this is, like I said, it was a fairly standard Randy Orton wrestling match, if you will. You got the table spots. He did it twice because the crowd asked for one more. Austin Theory would try to get involved, but he would pay the price for that in RKO, and Grayson Waller Grayson Waller loses and Randy Orton wins. But they would jump Randy Orton after the match. This would bring out Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens would even the playing field, almost get RKO because Randy Orton didn't know who it was because they had his like back turned towards the entrance ramp when they were jumping him. So when KO tried to pick him up from behind, he thought it was Grayson Waller, and he almost RKO'd him. And Kevin Owens was like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And he was like, "He said, my fault, man. I thought you was one of them." But then he would move Kevin Owens out the way because Austin Theory would try to come and interfere, but then with RKO, he would get a stunner. Austin Theory would get a stunner and then into an RKO. And I love the way how Austin Theory sold it because he got stunner and then just jumped into the air, like flew into the air to get RKO by Randy Orton. So I'm like that. That was cool. Nick Aldis, I forgot this. He would get jumped when he got jumped. Logan Paul was involved in that when KO came out. That's why he came out because they were like holding him, and Logan Paul was going like this, like he was getting ready to hit him with the right, and then Kevin Owens' music would hit, and that's why I think like Logan Paul just dipped out the ring, and they just took care of Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. I had to mention that because I forgot when they hit that stunner RKO combination on Austin Theory, you could hear Logan Paul in the background on the outside saying, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Yeah, that was an oh my God," because they messed Austin Theory up. But Nick Aldis will come out and taunt Logan Paul for his earlier comments, saying that being taunting him about getting that apology, and basically revealing to him that his opponent, or I should say opponents, will be Randy Orton and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. It will be a triple threat match. Pretty much what I think everybody thought it was going to be. I don't think nobody thought he was going to have a one-on-one. Maybe at first, the way how Elimination Chamber ended, but then as the weeks went on, it kind of seemed like it was going to be a triple threat match. Let's see, we got Damage Control doing a promo next with them basically saying, with Dakota Kai basically said that she can't wait to get to their match because she's gonna break Bailey, and that she explained a little bit why they had to do what they did, because they said in order for them to grow, in order for them to get better, they had to get rid of Bailey, and they had to because the way how Bailey was jealous of Io and her distrust of Kyrie and Asuka. They had to get rid of her because they needed to grow to what they could truly be, and that she was going to break Bailey. We did get the next match, which is Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar, and this was a fairly good standard match. What was one of those matches? I forgot, but I'll save it for the wrestling Pit podcast. I just remembered something, but I'll say it on the wrestling on our wrestling Pit podcast review of this. But yeah, this match was fairly decent. It was. I liked the little luchador. I like Dragon Lee. He got potential, and I'm glad that they let him show it here, that he got potential to be something great in WWE, and also Santos too. This was a fairly good standard luchador match. Nothing too exciting, with thanks to some interference. Because the match is not really that long. They do some nice moves. I think Dragon Lee dominated them for the most part, but because of that, they would interfere Angel Garza and them, allowing Santos to hit his move, the Phantom Driver, and get the victory over Dragon Lee. They would then jump Dragon Lee, but this would bring out Carlito and Rey Mysterio, with Rey Mysterio and Santos getting into a little altercation, and Rey Mysterio challenging Santos to a match later next week. I was about to say later on, but actually it was next week. No promo. We get the next match, which is New Cash Republic versus Pretty Deadly. This was a fairly good and it actually got some time to cook. Tag team match between New Cash Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, and Pretty Deadly. For the most part, Pretty Deadly got worked over. They had their moments of dominance, but it was pretty mostly the New Cash Republic dominating here, with Pete Dunne doing his usual, and it's always, what I like about Pete Dunne, even though I know it's fake, it looks so gruesome when he just works the fingers and stuff. I'll just be like, oh my god, it always make me cringe and just, whoo, yeah, it looks like it hurts. And, so I have to say, like, I enjoy watching Pete Dunne wrestle, man, because even though I know is predetermined and all that type of stuff, he still find a way to make me cringe with the way he works those joints. But yeah, New Cash Republic will take the victory here, and they'll go on to face Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza next week. The winner of those two matches will go on to be added to the WrestleMania six-pack challenge. So I'm guessing that's how they're going to do it. They're going to have these little brackets, and each team that wins, because I think they need two teams. It's only going to be two brackets, actually, I should say, because it's only going to be two teams from SmackDown. There's two teams from SmackDown, three teams from Raw that will qualify for the six-pack challenge. So, with that being said, we get to our main event, which is Bayley versus Dakota Kai, and this was a good main event. I like it. They actually giving shine to Bayley like they should, and yeah, like they should. They giving shine to Bayley, remind you that her and Io are both important matches of WrestleMania. Um, this was a decent match, albeit it was a little bit on the nose, because you could really tell early on how they was gonna end this match, and that's like my only gripe with it, that they actually did end it this way, and so it was, like I said, but it undermined the fact that Bayley and Dakota Kai had a good match, but in the end it ended in a DQ because of the fact of them basically charging the ring and beating the hell out of Bayley. Eventually, like, they kept getting involved to the point where you could tell it was going to be a DQ, because now Damage Control is just in the ring and Bayley is fighting them all, and the match is still going, and so you're just waiting for one of them to hit Bayley to cause DQ. And I think it was not Io, but yeah, I think it was either Io. Yeah, I think Io's the one who caused the DQ. I was about to say, I know because Kyrie and Oscar was in the ring too, so I couldn't remember who hit Bayley, but I think it was Io. And they would continue. They would jump her. Naomi would come out, and so Bayley basically wins by DQ. Naomi would come out to try to help Bayley, but but it would be to no avail. The numbers game is too much, and Damage Control would beat both of them and to stand tall. This was okay. I mean, most of the best things that was the Rock's promo, and everybody else's promo was just decent to good. The matches was okay, so I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I was gonna give it a 6.5, but I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Big ups, because it was very decent. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed my review of Friday Night SmackDown, you hit this button right here for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoy the video so much you want to support the channel, all you do is hit those buttons. As always, hit one of these videos for more of my amazing content. Don't go anywhere, because I got more. Plus, thank you to the new subscribers that I have. Love you guys. And get over to the Wrestling Pit Podcast, or just Wrestling Pit Podcast, for more of those videos and our lengthy review of SmackDown. So, yeah, peace.